Hey guys, Dragonstar here. Welcome back to another video. This one I'm gonna be going over a game I played against my friend Blue, is also around 2700 elo. I'm basically the same. So this will be more for decision making and why I made a few decisions, how do I react to things and all of that. A lot of people have asked me on why I make certain decisions while I'm playing the game. So the best way of explaining my thought process would be going over a recorded game rather than having it just show the game. I'll analyze the game as in depth as possible and explain my thought process on why I take certain decisions. In this game, I'm going to be playing Magyars against Turks. Turks have gold bonus, so he definitely wants to play archers and has access to light cav. Magyars have really nice scouts, and it's one of the eco bonuses that they are going to work with. Pretty decent late game as well, with Magyars having access to one of the best cavalry archers. Turks almost competing with them in that regard with the extra hit points they get. But Magyars with the raw damage output should still be in a very good position. In terms of the opening, there's not going to be that much different. I'm going for my traditional scouting pattern, looking for a wood line as close to my town center as possible. 2 on word. I'm going for 3 onward. This was to keep myself flexible. Usually the standard build order is 2 onward and then you go to deers. I was thinking about going for a drush maybe, but I looked at my map. My main gold is kind of out exposed in the front. My berries are near a hill on the map. While all of that is happening, I'm pushing the deer and luring the boar at the same time while setting up my base, making a house in front of my berry bush to have a little bit of information if any drush is coming, if any mana toms is coming. This guy acts like an outpost and a wall. All of these things are the reason where my third house is in the front of my berry bush. While all of that is happening, I'm continuing to push deer, positioning the sheep inside my town center's ring to make sure I don't get lamed. And that has been the setup I have gone for. There's a lot of hunt under my TC. That's why I'm not immediately sending villages to the berries. I'm slowly going to send villages from the town center to the berries so that I can have full saturation of the hunt. Hunt is the fastest rotting food in the game. Boar has a faster decay rate than the deer, so you always want to have full saturation on your boars as quickly as you can. Found another pair of deers in the middle of the map. That's neutral deer. That's always nice if you can get away with getting a few of them. So I decided to take the neutral deer. Also, I am going to remove the information access panel so that I can just explain you purely my thought process as the game goes on. While I go up, I have 3 villages on the berries, 8 villages on the wood. One of these houses have the same logic as this one. I want to act it as like an outpost from my wood line so I can see units coming from that area. Also, I'm going to continue pushing deer. I'm going for a more greedy approach, which is why you'll see me walling up my resources like this, where I'm going to make a few choke points to my town center to not get harassed by any militia / mana toms. So these 2 palisades connecting to this wood line just allows him to not harass these villages on this side of the map, making the barracks in front of my berries on the other side to act as like an outpost kind of thing. He sees me pushing deer. He's going to try to deny me a little bit. I'm going to trade a little bit of hit points against him and continue to lure my deers. He wasn't sure what my uptime is going to be, so he managed to just run away in time because Magyars get +1 attack on their scout in Feudal Age, and you also get the +2 attack for reaching Feudal Age. While all of that is happening, I'm still kind of making these walls around my wood line in case I am going to face mana toms. I still have not confirmed that yet. Last deer push is basically impossible. Anything I do after this is just going to be greedy. So this is the initial wall setup I am going for, where I'm going to make a bunch of choke points, And so far, so good. I've not seen anything from him. Turks, maybe he's playing scouts, maybe he's playing archers. We don't know that yet. Turks has the option of going for anything. I see a spearman forward, so he wants to intercept few of my reinforcements perhaps. In order to do that, I'm also parking my scout here in order to trap a villager which might come to block this. This is such an easy area to wall up. So I want to make sure I don't accidentally let him wall this for free. While all of that is happening, I see the archer and another spearman in the front. So he sends 2 spearmen immediately in the front in order to intercept my scout. I accidentally took a hit over here. I did not want to do that. I want to keep my scout next to those guys. I want to hit a timing with the scouts. While all of that is happening, I'm also continuing to finish my choke points around the town center from the wood line to keep this wood line safe and secured. The archer can harass the berry villagers, but it's only one archer and he won't have fletching, so you won't really see me panicking against that. The scout is going to go around. I don't want to show him where the movement of my scout is going to look like. So I have a total of 3 scouts right now. I'm adding the 4th one. Still have a little bit of food in the bank. I've not seeded any farms. And this is just because I was able to push those deers. I have a lot of excess villages on food under the town center because I was able to eat the deer. So that is one of the biggest benefits that I had in my early game. And the other bonus of the Magyars is I can pick off spearmen and archers like this if he moves out with less than enough spearmen. While all of that is happening, I'm not really reacting to this pressure that he's throwing at me. One archer is not really the scariest thing in the world. I just need to position 1 skirmisher. You see me having the rally point. I have 1 rally point on my archery range over there, 2 over there in order to push away this archer, which should not be a thing. While all of that is happening, I have 4 scouts which can be used to harass my opponent. So this is 12 minutes into the game. I'm now starting to look for another harassment point. I see 1 archer basically has no protection. I managed to take it out. So far the kill death is 3-0 in my favor, as you can see. And in terms of the villager count, it's exactly the same. We have not killed a villager from each other just yet. I am seeding a lot of farms, dropped my archery range in order to make that skirmisher to push him away, not let him harass. He actively wants to use his scout in order to jump on my skirmisher, so I make that house to not let him do that. While all of that is happening, I'm gonna keep making circles around his base with my scouts to make him panic, make him react. He's a pro player, so he's not really going to fall to my first attack. It's just mostly we are testing waters against each other at this stage of the game, where I'm looking for any opportunity of mistakes that he has to be creating. If I move around with my scouts, he cannot send villages to the gold for free. He cannot send these villages which are almost going to be done with the berries back to his base. And I now see another thing. I see him adding a stable of his own. So I know he wants to play archers into scouts. Against that, I cannot let him do that for free. So I add more scouts on the way up. I'm running out of stragglers. So I'm going for a second lumber camp now on this side of the map. I see a bunch of his units going back to his base, so he wants to regroup with the army. Scouts and archers beat scouts and skirmishers, but the biggest advantage with the scout skirmisher player has is that he is going to have the numbers. So as long as I take an engagement before he has a critical mass of archers, I should still be fine, or I always continue producing units, which lets me get to a really good spot. I want a blacksmith myself in order to get upgrades for my military units. I'm dropping a tower. It zones off this entire area that he's going to be hitting. The scouts are now going to maybe try to intercept or counter attack. Maybe I can get another villager somewhere. Skirmishers, I click his archers. I see what upgrades he has. He still doesn't have fletching just yet. Scouts are not going to be threatening my skirmishers as long as I don't leave the walls. I'm going to always position my skirmishers behind my walls. While all of that is happening, the scouts are roaming around, making him react as well, so that he doesn't really get to micro the full time in my base, so I'm going to always make him react to this. I'm going to check his gold again. He still only has 2 on gold, so his gold income should not be that scary. You see him not having fletching. He ideally wants to have fletching at this stage of the game. His villages are still stuck on the berry bush because my scouts are moving around in his base. So this is what scout movement gives you when you are hanging out in your opponent's space. You make them react and you make them panic, and you also are relieving a little bit of pressure from your base because they're completely focusing in their base to defend and not take damage to these scouts. I have 8 scouts. What I did over there was go under the town center from that villager and try to pick off the farmer. So you can position the scout between the town center and the farmer and hit in the north direction in order to pick off that villager. While all of that is happening, my skirmishes are still making sure that I am being secured on this side of the map. This tower protects my gold mine. I have a few villages on gold. I already clicked the fletching upgrade, which will make my skirmishes pretty effective against the archers. Positioning these villages on the right side of that tower near the tower's range, garrisoning my town center. He commits to go for a villager kill because he lost a villager right now, so he definitely wants to go for another villager. That's the first kill he has gotten, and I have gotten 4 kills, which was 1 on that. In terms of villages, I'm 1 ahead because I'm probably he's probably having some production issues with his unit composition. His unit composition is a little bit more expensive than mine. I'm going for the armor upgrade for my cav, and I'm actively looking to hunt down his army and not let him regroup with the other batch. So I'm looking for it, and I probably missed it. Yeah, I missed the army. He already escaped. I checked to see if he did not hide in the corner. Now I'm going to try to track him all the way into his base. Now I see this army, so I knew he managed to escape. So I missed my opportunity. So we'll try to create another opportunity by getting upgrades for our military. I have +1/+1, and I'm also getting bloodlines. He has bloodlines and +1 armor, so I have to make sure I don't fight before my bloodline upgrade kicks in. Also, his unit composition is superior than mine. He is going to pull ahead of me if I continue not adding military. So I'm going to add second stable and even going for +1 armor to make sure I can get the cleanup on his army. I'm going to sit in my base, add a lot of production, and try to make sure I don't take any eco damage with the amount of army he has committed into. He has clicked the bloodline upgrade, but he sees my numbers and he's like, okay, I need to escape. He probably saw the second stable. So in his mind, if he can keep this army alive and get to Castle Age, he's going to be in a very good spot because of the amount of commitment I have made. But his army is out of position since he was looking to find damage on my stuff. And he's like, I'll lose too many units if I do not commit into this fight. So now we commit into the fight. I have +1/+1 with bloodlines. He only has +1 armor with bloodlines, so I will completely crush him in that fight. Now you can see the kill death ratio, and this is where I am going to commit into going for a forward tower because I know he under committed into making military. He did not have as many scouts as I have. I'm going to add a lot of spearmen. I'm going to add a second barracks because I'm expecting knights out of him, maybe cavalry archers. I'm going to double down on my military, already positioned villages on my stone mine because I know it's a go time, and he knows that I'm going to do a pretty big all-in because of the amount of military I made. So he's going to make a tower on his gold mine. He is still out on the map with his army, so I take a fight. This is all going to be beneficial for me because I am the one who is committing. I'm making a forward tower. I surround his gold mine, and the game is over. He was probably on his way up to the Castle Age, if I have to expect it. Looking at his resources, he was about to click up actually. He wasn't up yet. If you get refunded, like after you lose the game, you get a refund on your resources. So he probably was not even up. So my inclination was I need to punish, I need to add a lot of military, I need to punish the fast castle. He's going to add the second stable and make a lot of knights in order to deal with scouts and skirmishes. Scouts and skirmishes have the weakness of dying to knights because of the amount of hit points and armor it has. Scouts have very low base attack, especially for melee compared to the armor of the knights, and skirmishes do like 1 damage to a knight, so it's not really the most threatening unit. So I'm going to go on stone. I'm going to make a lot of spearmen from double barracks. I need to kickstart my spearmen production in order to have enough spearmen to threaten him, and I'm going to pressure his gold mines. These are the two big things I'm going to actively target in order to cut his knight production. If I do not hit his gold and he can make a lot of cavalry, especially knights, light cav is not as scary because my scouts and my spearmen can still do okay against them. But the biggest threat for my army composition is going to be his knights. It's the highest impact unit you can create in Castle Age, which kills my entire army. So I go for spearmen in order to not die to that. But I took consecutively really good fights with my army composition, catching him out on the map, just making sure my production was always on, and cleaning him up a few times. This is like the feudal variation where you can catch someone under making army trying to go for faster castle age. But that was the game. That was like a analysis for feudal play. If you see someone making mistakes like this, you can force out mistakes from players if you hang out in their base. I could definitely improve on my macro if I have to give an analysis or improvements, because I was microing too much and not spending my resources fast enough. Looking at my base, like my TC is idle right now. I have not clicked the farm upgrade, which I should have done, especially going for double stable and not having the farm upgrade definitely hurts me. But in the early stages, you have to skip the farm upgrade to able to afford archers and get fletching as quickly as you can. And that is what you saw in this game. Extra deals definitely helped, but most of it came down to the other decision making where I just made a lot of military. Hope this helped someone. This was like one of the requested videos I had for explaining a decision making of one of the replays I played or games I played. This was like a clear cut. Just I made a lot of army, had good defense, did not do any fancy micro. I just patrolled or attack moved into him a few times and made sure I'm not losing villages and units for free. Hang out in his base, make him react, and then win the game by taking good engagements. And that's gonna be it. Maybe I'll upload a few 1v1s that I'm going to play live as well. I'm usually not as clear cut with my explanations while I'm playing the game because I'm actively thinking, but having an analysis style video where I'm explaining my thought process after the game is done would be something if you guys are more interested in watching and listening from me. Do leave a comment and subscribe for more. See you guys in the next one.